You're welcome back. This is Newsfile. It's your most authoritative news analysis platform, and here on Newsfile, we put Ghana first. And our guests are ready. Dr. Dominic Akuritinga Ohene is MP, Boga East, and former Deputy Attorney General and Minister for Justice. Alhaji Habib Drisu is MP Tolong and First Deputy Majority Whip. Dr. Arthur Kennedy is physician and political activist. He joins us from his base in the United States of America. We also have Dr. Mami Mensah Bunsu, Associate Professor and Head of Ashesi Law, Humanities and Social Sciences Departments. Thank you, gentlemen and lady, joining us this morning for this discussion. Good morning to you all.
Good morning, Samson.
Great.
Morning.
So now, I don't have a take for you. For the many of you who have sent messages and say you're waiting for Samson's take. It has to be on Parliament, it has to be on Supreme Court. I'm sorry to disappoint you. Call it part of my take. We will not take our foot off the paddle on Galamsey. So let's do this very brief. In the next 10 minutes, let me engage Edem Srem, who is a freelance journalist and who has been doing some work at Galamsey site. We are showing you in pictures what he has been doing, taking drone footages of the Galamsey site and also taking pictures that show you the devastation that continues, including at the on the Brim River, where the military stormed a couple of weeks ago to burn as many as 18 Shamans and other mining equipment that were sitting on the water. His drone shot shows you the Galamseyers are back right there. Where do they get their courage and boldness from? Adam, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Hello?
Great, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you.
Right. So what's your motivation going around and taking footages, taking pictures of Galamsey sites? What's your motivation?
Well, the motivation comes from the fact that the environment is where we live. The environment is what provides us everything that we need, including fresh air, fresh water, and other things. Even the food we eat is from the environment. Mm-hmm. So for me, I am passionate about environmental issues. And since my senior secondary days, I was a member of the Green Earth, and I've carried that throughout my life up to this stage. So if I see environmental distraction, I want to do something to stop people from distracting the environment. Right. So that has been the motivation. And my other positive motivation is that I always tell people that I'm a 100 years war fighter. So I'll keep fighting until we have a great news that Galamsey is stopped on all our water bodies.
Thank you. Now, Adam, talk us through what we are watching now. Where did you take this from, and what do we see?
Okay, so this is Eninem, and this is the Brim River. So immediately after the soldiers went on the, should I use the word rampage? Yeah, so after the soldiers went to sack the miners on the Brim River, just 3 days after they came back, the miners came back with regard for no authority, no regard for security agencies, no regard for anything. Not even the king of Achim. So this is the Brim River that has been heavily polluted.
But the Ashanfans were bent.
Well, the Chamfans were burnt by the soldiers, but you see, the Chamfans are easy to make. They are easy to make. So once they get the, all that you need is to get some, the barrels, about 4 of them, and then you put some wooden slabs on them, and then you fix the Chamfan machine on it. You are good to go. It takes about some 4 or 5 hours to fix.
Right.
So even if, and the Chamfan is cheap, so even if they burn hundreds of them, they will still buy hundreds of them because it's cheap and it's easy to fix.
That brings me to a point I have been making. Chamfans are made for a specific purpose, for Galamsey.
Yes. No, not for Galamsey, but for irrigation, for pumping water in your homes and other places.
The ones that they use for Galamsey are not different.
No, not different.
Okay, thanks for that education. My question remains, is it possible to locate those who manufacture these Chamfans and insist?
Absolutely possible.
And insist that to everyone that they sell to, it must be documented so we know for the purpose for which it is being bought. Anyway.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, something. It's possible to locate where they manufacture parts of the vessel they put on the water. When you take Swame Magazine, for example, in Kumasi, most of the parts are manufactured there. So if you observe my first documentary in 2013,
right,
I went to Swame Magazine to look at how they manufacture parts of the Chamfan. And one of the manufacturers admitted that, yes, we are the ones who manufacture the machines that destroy the water. But he says that is their work. They also make money from it, so they can't stop. So that is it. If you drive from here to Kumasi, you see that on your way.
I think
Kumasi,
for the general good,
a lot of them by the road.
I think for the general good, when we say there's a ban on Galamsey, there ought to be that specific ban extended to Chamfan manufacturing. For the general good, at least for now, there ought to be a ban on the manufacture of these machines as well. Okay, let's look at the other footages that you have taken. Tell us where you are taking them from and what we are seeing. But this place at the Brim River, we see the people there. How do you escape, their eye that they don't harm you?
This one is I would say it's a secret for my trade. So
okay. That's understood.
And
That's
God
understood.
is always protecting us. So
thank you. Thanks for the good job. Now let's roll over a couple more of the pictures that Adam has taken from various Galamsey sites, and then he will speak to them. Let's move on from the Brim River. This is still the Brim River.
There's still Brim.
Right. This is where? Where is this?
Oh, there's still Brim. Okay, this is River Ohene.
Right. You took this.
So this is River Ohene on the Dunkwa Ohene stretch.
Right.
Yes, and the Ohene flows from somewhere in the Ashanti region and joins the Pra River.
When did you take this? And we see that some of the guys are running. What did they see? Is it your drone or something?
Yes. So when some of them see the drone, they run away because they think it's the military or something, somebody that's doing an operation. And that is why I always say that to stop them from mining on the rivers, we should buy the agricultural drones, the big ones, pour hot water inside, add pepper, and then fly over the rivers and spray them with the pepper. Once it enters their eyes, I'm sure they won't come back.
An interesting proposition there. Thank you, Adam. Let's get to the next. There are the photographs. Let's show as many of them as possible, and let's get Adam. Okay, so it's okay. We can end it here. But when did you take this one?
This was I think, a month or so before the military embarked on the halt.
Okay, right.
So you can see that's what they are fixing. They are fixing the machine.
All right.
And it's easy to fix.
All right. And you are getting to every Galamsey site and taking these pictures and footages, beyond putting it on social media, and we all see and we get, very sad about the developments. What are you doing with them? The pictures and videos that you take from Galamsey sites?
Well, I'm keeping them for some time to come. Maybe someday the rivers will come back to normal. So we can do before, during, and after.
Right. The duty bearers, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, Forestry Commission, Minerals Commission, you haven't made contact with them? They don't make contact with you to get some of these footages to assist them in their work?
The Ministry of Lands have always been using my footages, and I even have a grudge with them because they don't give me anything. So I've done this for the past 11 years. I've been fighting Galamsey. Even when people stop, I still move.
Yeah.
And sometimes my wife will even tell me that I should stop. It's enough. Because people are not doing anything about it. But I still say that if all of us keep quiet, then we will have a better nation. So some of us will still have to be talking and doing what we do, so that someday maybe we'll have a good minister who cares about the environment. We'll have a president who cares about the environment more than the previous presidents we've had. And then we'll be able to solve some of these environmental problems that we face.
Thank you very much. I just love your spirit, Adam. Adam Sram, thank you very much for joining us. You are the kind of citizen that the Constitution speaks about in Article 41. That says that the exercise and enjoyment of rights and freedoms is inseparable from the performance of duties and obligations, and accordingly, it shall be the duty of every citizen to promote the prestige and good name of Ghana and respect the symbols of the nation, uphold and defend the Constitution and the law. Then it says to protect and preserve public property and expose and combat misuse and waste of public funds and property. And among others, it says to protect and safeguard the environment. Thank you, Adam. Right.
Thank you.
Right. We take a quick break. We return. My guests are set for us to begin the discussion on what is becoming a fight between Parliament and the Supreme Court, or the court. There are accusations of the court interfering in the other branch, that is Parliament's work, in a manner that is not permitted by law, and among other things. We'll be right back.
With respect, for the past 12 years, I have accorded you every respect, and I'll continue to do that no matter. Mr. Speaker, the facts you put out are not true. Mr. Speaker, these are credibility issues, so I will respond for the record. Mr. Speaker, somebody has told you something. Mr. Speaker, you reserve the right to be there to make your point. Let me make my point too. Mr. Speaker, no way. Mr. Speaker, no way.
You're welcome back. This is Newsfile, the most authoritative news analysis platform, and I'll take just a minute comment from my guest on the matter of the proposals, which looks like very innovative to fight this Galamsey. The freelance journalist Adam Schramm says we should just put, pepper spray into drones and spray them on the places. Eraba Opoku Bediako says, yes, a total ban on all Galamsey equipment, and whoever wants to manufacture should acquire license from no other person than the IGP, so that monthly IGP will publish how many chamfans have been manufactured and for what purpose. And this PhD student in the UK, he says Adam is doing what we call environmental photography, which is full of time studies. I have been in touch with him, and he has provided me with some sensational photos of Galamsey activities, which I use to make my PhD transfer presentation. The panel were shocked to see the extent of devastation in this sector of mining. And he looked at a few other things. Thank you, Prince Bansa. So just a minute each. Yes, let me start with you, Habib.
Yes, I think Galamsey, as we always call it in Ghana, or illegal mining, is a serious problem. And then it's high time we take politics out of it. I think that the best solution to tackle this is for us to take politics out of it. This issue continue showing its face. Government is fighting, government is not fighting because of the politics in it. This political party thinks that if my party come into power, I'll get the opportunity to do Galamsey.
So we don't want to do that discussion. The proposal being made.
So,
what do you think?
I think that idea is a brilliant idea. That if actually, based on his narration, he was of the view that if he fly the drone, people are running, thinking that it's already scaring them. Yeah. Not to talk about the fact that you are adding pepper and hot water in there. If that will help in a way, I think that we should be able to explore that direction. It will help us a bit.
Yes, Doc, what do you say?
Yeah, I agree with my junior brother and leader in the House regarding the issue of politics. I think we should take politics out of Galamsey, because most of the time the reason why there is inaction or failure of leadership is because sometimes we fear the consequences, the political consequences of taking one position or the other. As to the solution that was proposed, this is very interesting, because there is something that I have been discussing with a brother of mine, a junior brother of mine, whose name I will not mention, but he has been proposing radically that we should, actually, send drones with either bullets or bombs to the area, and then with heat detection technology, so that when they detect human activity in the area, they should just fire, and that is how we will take them out of the place. And I think that's
like the Joseph Osei-Wusu's proposal: shoot to kill.
If that is what will save us from this environmental genocide, I will support it.
Interesting.
Yes.
Let me see if my guest joining us via Zoom also want to make a comment or two about this in a minute, about the proposal that the freelance journalist who has been doing this for many years, even when we all went to sleep on the subject, he was still doing it, and his wife said, look, forget it. He says, no, I'll continue. Right. Dr. Kennedy, what do you say about this proposal?
It's interesting, but it doesn't get to the point. It almost sounds like a farmer who is trying to scare away birds from his farm who are trying to eat his crop. This is a national problem. The military can go and burn some farms. Why do they leave? It's a war. When you take new territory, you maintain it. So if the military burns some farms, we should station soldiers there so that others do not there. If you put hot water and pepper and all that, it might even be a human rights violation. If they are breaking the law, arrest them and try them and sentence them to prison terms. And not only that, most of these Shamans, of course, don't drive themselves to the place. People take them there. Let's find the people who take them there, because on the surface of it, they are breaking the law. Let's find the big people who are funding them. And most of the big people are party elders and members of parliament and other things. We are beating around the bush. If we want to solve the problem, we must go to the source of it and solve it. And none of the political parties will solve it. As I have proposed, we need extraordinary measures to solve this. I have already appealed twice to the Asante to reach out to the key parties and solve this, because I fear that if the NDC manages to win this election on the perception that NPP is doing token efforts against Galamsey, they will learn the lesson that the best thing to do is leave Galamsey alone, and we'll have it for another generation.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Mame Mensah-Bonsu, thank you, Prof. What do you have to say? Do you think this is a viable, solution? Yes, Prof, I can hear you.
I think it would work for about 3 days, and then they would learn to buy a helmet and a pair of goggles, and that would end the effectiveness of that, that method. So while I think it's speaking to a certain desperation we have to do something, it's not a particularly long-term solution. And as for shooting to kill, as my favorite lecturer has suggested, I think I worry about being the person who was taking a stroll in the wrong place at the wrong time, and the drones detected human activity and shot me. So while it might get a few of the, or even a lot of the kingpins, there are also a lot of little children and innocent citizens and women who are going about their business who will end up being detected as human activity in a Galamsey site. And drones are not people. They can't say, oh, that's a person that we think is okay and that's a person that's not.
Right.
So they'll end up killing a lot of people in the process. So we need a more sustainable solution. And I think the idea of treating it as a war and having our army stationed more permanently in places that require minding is far more sustainable. Right. As for the political will, everybody talks about how we lack it. And I don't know that until the people who are in charge say, well, here's our actual commitment, that anything is going to change. There'll be a lot of talk. So yeah, that's what I think about that solution. I think it would be great for 2 days.
Thank you very much. But perhaps maybe the way to go around it is to do the declaration of the state of emergency on the water bodies and those forest reserves which are preserved. So once there's a state of emergency there, you don't have to go there in the first place. And if you go there and get killed, that's your own problem, Abi. Now, let's go to Parliament and to the courts.